you. Welcome to the Economic and Destination Development Committee for this Thursday, January the 20th, 2022. It's our first meeting of the new year, and Happy New Year to all our committee members. I hope you had a nice festive season and you're ready to get down to some serious work in 2022. And let's go to Karen for attendance.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the meeting. So we are without a couple of voting and non-voting committee members, but we do have quorum. I believe Alicia Purchase from the department hasn't signed in yet, but she'll be in shortly. So I think we're good to go.
All right, thank you, Karen. Number 3 on the list for the agenda, disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Anybody have anything to declare? All right, we're good to go. Number 4 is minutes from November 25th, 2021. They were attached. Hopefully you had a chance to read them. We get a mover? Councillor Sanderson, second. Edgerton Boyce. Anybody have any comments about the minutes? All those in favor? Approved, thank you. Deputations, we have none today. We'll go right down to number 6 on the agenda, Economic Development Activity Report. Karen, the Zoom is yours.
Okay, thank you. So lots of activity. We always like to make sure the committee knows a little bit about what goes on in the department, just to keep you up to date. Lots of things happening we can't talk about at this point, but we'll keep you up to date as soon as we can. I did want to draw your attention to some of the statistics that are in the chart in the activity report. So if you take a look at the building numbers, $126 million worth of construction activity in Belleville last year, which is a significant amount. And I always like to dig a little bit deeper into those numbers. And if you take a look at sort of private sector development versus government or institutional development, you'll see that more than 90% of the building activity, almost 95% of the building activity, was actually private sector investment in the community. So to me, that is a super strong signal that the economy is doing well. It's moving ahead despite all of the challenges that it's facing right now with supply chain issues, with COVID issues, with staffing issues. Businesses are continuing to invest. People are continuing to buy homes. They're continuing to build homes. So I think overall for 2021, if you look at the statistic, things are, 2021 was a really good year. Lots of progression, lots of development. When you take a look at the unemployment rate for the Belleville CMA, we're down to about 4.5%. That is exceptionally low. As I always say, I do believe that number is probably a little bit lower if you were to figure out what's actually going on in the community. But 4.5% is pretty close to full employment. So we see that with every employer we talk to around their desperation to find more workers. So those numbers are pretty impressive. And of course, when you look at the number related to housing, it's up double digits over last year. And we thought last year's housing prices were really high. So again, some good, strong indicators that the local economy is moving along at a very strong pace.
Thank you, Karen. Any questions from committee members regarding the report? I'm seeing none. Karen, do we have to get a mover and a seconder to approve the report, or is it just a report that doesn't need that?
No, we can just receive it as information without
right.
resolution. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Number 7, strategic plan update. It was brought to council a week ago Monday, and we'll go to Karen now for that.
Yeah, so council approved the revised or updated strategic plan with no changes. So I just wanted to make sure the committee had a copy of the version in its final form. So that's just for information for the committee as well.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Councillor Sanderson.
Thank you. Through the chair to manager Post. So within the operating plan itself, there are a number of metrics defined in there. I'm just wondering when might we be able to see the 2021 results against those objectives?
That's a great question through the chair to Councillor Sanderson. So we're working on those now. Most we will be able to provide, some we will not be able to provide simply because some stats weren't collected as properly as they should have been during the pandemic, but we will be providing those hopefully at the regular February meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councillor Sanderson. Anyone else? All right, thanks, Karen. We'll move down to number 8, Quintelicious report, and we'll hear from Alicia Purchase.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year, I guess. Almost the end of January, which is hard to believe, but I bring forward a report for Quintelicious Belleville for 2022. As referenced in the report, we received really excellent feedback from the 21 restaurants that participated in last year's inaugural event. We've had a preliminary meeting with our 3 partners, being Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board, the Belleville Chamber of Commerce, and the Downtown District. And all 4 are really looking forward to potentially providing this support for the restaurant industry again for 2022, given the situation that they face once again, unfortunately. So we are requesting $15,000 to be funded from the Municipal Accommodation Tax Reserve Fund, and that is the same amount that we worked from last year from the city's portion. And then Bay of Quinte Tourism has also committed $10,000, which is what they provided last year as well. So an overall $25,000 promotional budget to operate that event. We actually sent out a preliminary email to the industry just to see who would be interested pending approval. And we've already had 11 responses from restaurants who would like to take part if the event takes place. So I'm certainly already seeing a positive response rate, which is great to note. Happy to answer any questions. I think based on the initial meeting we had with the partners, there aren't a lot of things we would change. We're really happy with how everything went last year, outside of enhancing the overall content development when it comes to making a further investment in image and videography.
Thanks.
Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? For those who are watching online, Alicia, can you just give us the dates if everything moves forward?
Yeah, we're recommending the month of March, so it would kick off March 1st until March 31st. All
right, it's been a tough go for restaurants, and I think it's projected that they'll be at 50% capacity by the end of the month. So it has been a grind for all our restaurants in the Quinte area. Questions for Alicia? Blair.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to, I guess, to Alicia. You mentioned the partner organizations, and I'm just wondering, I know that industry has been devastated, and I think the Quinte Restaurant Association sort of fragmented a little before, and certainly through all the ups and downs through the last couple of years. Is there any thought of, or heard anything about them as being a partner for 2023?
I may pass that over to Doug just because I'm not super familiar with where that group sits at the moment. I know we didn't have any direct relationship with them last year, but perhaps Doug can comment on that.
Yeah, sure. Through the chair to Blair and the group. So we've had some conversations. We actually have a list of some folks from last year's Quintelicious who said, I'd be interested to be a part of something like this moving forward. When the pandemic broke, QRA more or less dissolved for, reasons we can all understand. And so it's kind of on hold. And we've actually got some info in upcoming board meetings, Blair, that we'll be discussing on the regional marketing board side of things. So still on the list, but wait until a pandemic subsides a little more so folks can get on their feet and be a part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen?
I just wanted to let the committee know that this report is coming today, but we've also put it on council's agenda for this coming Monday, just because of the timing of this meeting and the timing of council's meeting. We've kind of put it on your agenda almost at the same time as council, just to make sure that we can get a decision on whether it's going to move forward from council in time to actually get the work done before Quintelicious starts. So if anybody's wondering why it's on council's agenda for Monday night, that's why.
All right, thank you, Karen. Anyone else for Alicia? Thank you, Alicia, for the report. We'll go to job fair, work in Quinte update, Karen.
Yeah, so you will recall that Belleville and Quinte West are working on the enhancement and expansion of the Work in Belleville resume database and job fair program. We received over $100,000 worth of funding from the province to work on that project. So we have engaged the services of Up and Up, an IT company that is developing a new resourceful website for us. So that work is well underway. We're hopeful that next week at some point we'll see some functioning in that website with a new site launched by the end of February. So that project's moving along really well. I want to thank our friends in Quinte West and Kimberly O'Brien-Mumby in our office for all the work that they've been doing on that, keeping us as on track as we can be these days. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes on with that project, and just want to say thank you to Quinte West and to our staff for helping out with that.
All right, thank you, Karen. Anyone have a question about the job fair update? I'm seeing none. Oh, Councillor Alsop, you're up.
Thank you, Chair. Just wondering if we have a sense of the number of available jobs that have been expressed to the Economic Development Department, and if we keep track, or if we're asking employers what the average salary for those roles would be, just so that that's something we might be able to bring to the public in terms of how many are available and what an average rate of pay might look like for those jobs.
Through the chair to Councillor Alsop, that's a great question. What we can tell you, we certainly don't formally survey all of our employers to define a number, but I can tell you that there are thousands of jobs available in Belleville right now. If you look at the manufacturing sector, there's more than 1,000 available there right now. And when you add on openings and vacancies that are in other sectors, we are into the thousands of jobs. So there's a lot of opportunity out there right now. I can also tell you that one thing that we're seeing is that wage rate is increasing as well. So certainly with the shortage of workers, we're starting to see employers where they can increasing that wage rate. I think you'll find very few jobs available right now at minimum wage. The majority of them have increased the wage rate above minimum wage. And the information that we have is that the salaries being offered, I don't know an average, but they really scan right from minimum all the way up to what any of us would consider high paid careers. So the wage rates scan the gamut of what's available, and there are thousands of jobs available. I'm wondering if it might be appropriate in a second to call on perhaps Brad Labadie or Chris King to comment on that as well from their perspective. But one thing I did forget to mention in the update on the Work in Quinte program is that Belleville and Quinte West had planned a career fair for January. We deferred it to February, thinking we would have one in Quinte West. We have now canceled that simply because of the restrictions put in place through the pandemic. So we are going with our regular spring career fair, and we've scheduled that for April 19th at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. So assuming all the restrictions allow us to have it, that's when we'll be holding that. So I hope that's answered the question. And Chair, if you're okay, if Chris or Brad have anything to add, might be helpful.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I certainly appreciate that, and I think the reason I ask is sometimes, particularly online, you do still see some conversation about, it's hard to find jobs, or employers aren't paying necessarily what people would be interested in working for. And I think that conversation obviously has shifted because we have thousands of jobs available, and employers are finding themselves in a position where they are paying higher rates. So maybe finding out what those numbers look like and then getting that out to the public on a more regular basis, I think would be helpful to maybe remind people that It is a different working environment. There are lots of jobs here. There are lots of great paying jobs. If you haven't looked around in a while, maybe it's important to get back out there and get a sense of what's really being offered at the moment.
I think those are great points. I also think that job seekers have to be aware that often when they are hired, they're hired at a much lower salary than they will make over, even in 6 months' time when their probation is over. So I know a lot of folks go into the job with an expectation that a wage will be up here, but the starting wage is often lower, but progression to a much higher wage is often a lot faster and quicker these days than it has been traditionally. So I know some folks get turned off by an entry-level wage, but they need to be patient, do their best, and they'll find that wage goes up quickly afterwards.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Alsop. Some good points you raised. I think we'd like to hear from Brad and Chris. Brad, you're up first, just on that last piece of discussion.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Just dog walking by there.
That's okay. We'll find you a buck. Okay.
Yeah, it's there's lots of jobs here, but there's also issues with how people are accessing some of those jobs and finding out about them. We've conducted Employer One for a number of years now, and every time we do this, what's the number one way that people are advertising is by word of mouth. Yet, and I think Chris can contest to this, the fact that we have thousands of manufacturing jobs here available. Yet, if you haven't been to our website lately, there's some new job tools that I've shared with Karen. And our job board that we have up, it's a regional job board that drills down to specific jobs that are posted online here. It's a very good system in that you're not seeing duplicate jobs. So if I go to that job board right now, there's just over 1,200 jobs advertised online somewhere amongst 50 different job boards in the province, including the local ones that are here in this area of Hastings, Prince Edward, and Lennox-Addington. If I drill down to Belleville, there's 621 jobs available. But the reality is there's probably a lot, I would say 2 or 3 times that in terms of actual jobs available out there. So, there's a bit of a disconnect on how employers are advertising and how job seekers are being able to find those jobs. So there's lots of opportunity here, just tons of it.
Thank you, Brad. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, agree with Karen and Brad. We do a wage and benefits survey for our manufacturers. And what we find is, we're seeing that increasing trend, and we're just in the process of doing another wage and benefits survey. But if you listen to some of the radio ads you see of manufacturers that are advertising for positions, they'll even put the wage rates on there in their ads. The Manufacturing Association has their manufacturing.com, QuinnyManufacturing.com, and if you went to jobs.QuinnyManufacturing.com, you could see a list of, a dozen or so manufacturing jobs up there, from, some of the entry-level positions to, stuff at $20 an hour to $33 an hour and up. We're doing regular industry outreach, and most of our manufacturers have indicated that they've recently increased wages. So even, over 6 months, they'll do pay increases. They all have to do it to compete. And there's a chart I could share with you guys at a future time that shows wages, average wages across all the sectors of the economy. And manufacturing continues to be the highest paid private sector jobs out there. So if you look at, all those other private sector jobs, manufacturing has not only the most jobs, but the highest paid as well. So lots of good jobs, lots of great career opportunities, and there's programs to get people trained to enter those. So even if you're thinking, hey, I've never worked in manufacturing, I don't think it's for me, there's programs to take you there, like Elevate Plus, for instance. And so great opportunities for anyone that's looking to do something different. And manufacturing has, like I say, diverse career paths, a lot of different directions you go, and lifelong learning opportunities. So you learn more skills and you can move to different companies. It's pretty amazing what's out there right now in manufacturing.
Thank you, Chris. Any other thoughts? I just wanted to make a couple of comments after hearing the question from Councillor Alsop and Karen's comments and hearing from Brad and Chris. It's the city and our partners, I believe, do a good job promoting the city with tourism, with Doug and his team, and there's lots of exciting things. And Chris alluded to hearing radio commercials advertising manufacturing jobs or industry jobs here in the city. And one is P&G that I believe they're offering over $30 an hour for those, and they're looking for people. Just hearing the conversation, and Councillor Alsop touched on that, you see it on social media, or I hear it from people that they can't get a job and they want to work. And then we hear today from Brad that there's probably 2,000 jobs this morning in Belleville. So is there opportunity for this committee to work with the city when we promote our tourism and all the wonderful things that we invest in, that we're also a community that you can get a job in and start your family or move to our area? This is an opportunity. We know how blessed we are to live in this neck of the woods. And I find those numbers, 2,000 jobs, good paying jobs, as Chris alluded to. And Karen mentions what we were all taught by our parents: get the job, work hard, and good things will happen to you. Your salary will go up and you can move up the ladder, if you will. So I don't know, are there ways from the committee, or I'd like to hear from Doug, that part of that tourism, but the overall umbrella of our city, what we have jobs, we have great place to live, quality of life, and there's potential for people to move or within the city to get a good job. And because they're crying out there, over 2,000 jobs. Doug, I'll go to you.
Sure, through you, Chair. It's a great point. And I think Karen would say that this is what we're going to be doing with work in Quinte. We got some budget burning a hole in our pockets, ready to market this place for jobs. And if Ruth were here from the Quinte Home Builders Association, she'd double this message, because they're currently building a trade-specific jobs website, and we're partnering with them on that as well. The whole idea is here are the jobs available, but here's the lifestyle. But here's the caveat, folks. Sure, we got a lot of jobs. Where are they going to live? We got to talk about housing. You can't bring people in to work a job for 20 bucks an hour if the average price of a house in our region is $650,000, or if the average one-bedroom rental price is broaching $2,000 a month. This is an issue, and that, in my opinion, leave the jobs marketing to our organization, to Karen, Alicia, to Ruth, and all of our partner organizations. Tackle housing as a municipality and as a region.
Good point. Thank you, Doug. Anyone else? Brad.
Sorry, just to the point that, we know that one of the solutions to some of these jobs, because there is not a labor force here, there's not enough of a labor force to fill all these opportunities, is that we need to look at immigration strategy. And the city of Belleville, QEDC, Doug's organization, ourselves, and several others put together and worked on the rural immigration strategy. And it was put out, but then the pandemic hit. So maybe now is the time to start looking at what are some of the actionable items that sit within that rural immigration strategy, and how do we now move those along to help, attract people to this community. And at the same time, Doug raises a really valid point. We could attract all we want, but if we don't have the housing here for them, it's going to be difficult.
Thank you, Brad. Chris, you had your hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple points. We received some funding to support that Work in Quinte program. So $50,000 this year and $50,000 next year to support, mostly for advertising, a little bit for maintenance of that website that's going directly to Belleville. So there's dollars there that we were able to get and then support that program. So that's in play. And then through our labor market partnership that we have, we also, again, for the manufacturing sector, and we're working to create some ads. We won't be able to do radio ads in other communities. It just becomes cost prohibitive if you look at those big centers, but some digital ads and others to talk about some of those good manufacturing careers in this region that we're trying to attract to. So we'll do some digital online ads to support that Work in Quinte as well. And then finally, we have through our Eastern Ontario partnership, we have funding for LinkedIn Recruiter, which is an enhanced version of LinkedIn where we could actually identify skills and people in certain positions look for new opportunities outside of the area. And we work with a lot of manufacturers if they're hiring specialized positions to identify who those people are, and then create a whole series of potential candidates they go through. So that LinkedIn Recruiter platform, so it's an enhanced version of LinkedIn that's fairly costly, but through our Eastern Ontario partnership, we're able to access that. Helps those companies identify some of those specialized skills that are out there.
Thank you, Chris. Anyone else? Karen?
To the chair, just to the committee. So certainly housing, as Doug mentions, that's a big issue. And we often talk about advancing the labor market development issue at the same time and at the same pace as the housing issue, because the two are linked. You can't build homes if you don't have labor, and you can't attract labor if you don't have homes. So just want to remind the committee that the city does have a community improvement program that was put in place last year. Super incentives in there to encourage the construction sector, to encourage homeowners to create new affordable housing units across the city. If you take a look at the building stats for 2021, you'll see that there were 373, I don't have it in front of me, but 373 new units in the city, which is a significant amount compared to what we have done in previous years. So there is lots of work being done, some incentives put in place to deal with particularly the affordable housing issue, giving reductions in development charges, waiving building permit fees, things like that. So there is a fair bit of work being done there. Just wanted to remind the committee of that. Still more that could and should be done, no doubt, but there are some things that are happening there, but it does take time, particularly when labor force in the construction sector is an issue.
All right, thanks, Karen. Councillor Sanderson.
Thank you. Through the chair to Karen. So that 379 number, is that just residential homes? Because number of housing units for the region, that seems very low to me. I would have thought we were in the thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Through the chair to Councillor Sanderson. So that's right from the city's building report. So that's just units built in Belleville. So it's 373 units in 2021 built in Belleville. And it's a mix of apartments, row houses, single unit dwellings, and semi-detached houses. So that's the total number of units built in Belleville or permitted in Belleville in 2021.
Okay, so maybe I'm mixing it up with number of permits then. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Karen and Councillor Sanderson. Anyone else? All right, thank you. Good discussion on that point. Next, we'll go to Alicia with an update on multiple things. Alicia, you're on.
Sorry, you're gonna get sick of hearing my voice. Okay, I'll go through this as quickly as I can. First update is regarding the pop-up business plan. As reported at our last meeting, we've retained a SHCG, which is a consulting firm to oversee the development of a business plan for pop-ups. I want to thank the members of the working group because we have had 2 meetings with that group, primarily members of the EDDC committee who volunteered. So thank you very much for your time on that. We actually met yesterday and received some of the findings from the public input that's been gathered from the consultants. So I'm happy to report of excellent engagement rates. We had 20 stakeholders surveyed. So that's vendors that have participated as well as staff, stakeholders, and partnering organizations. And we had 445 public surveys completed. So an overwhelming response. We're just sifting through all of the comments that came through with the public surveys, but certainly gets me excited in terms of seeing that level of engagement from the community. And we've had a lot of really great ideas expressed in terms of where pop-ups can go from here. So I met earlier before the meeting with Tanya and Mel, who we're working with on this plan. And we are looking at meeting the timeline that was highlighted in the RFP. we do have only one council meeting in February, so it has altered things a little bit. And what I'd like to ask of the committee is if there be any interest in having a separate meeting in February. I'm going to suggest February 3rd at 10:30. So it's a Thursday at 10:30, where we would just have Mel and Tanya present a draft report to the committee. And that way we can try to meet that goal of getting a final report to council for February 14th. Just without having that second meeting in February, we almost need to set up something separate unless we want to delay it further.
I like the idea of the meeting on the 3rd. I think it's great. When we get it to council before the next meeting. Does that work? I see a lot of thumbs up, Alicia.
Okay, so we'll send an invite out to everybody's calendars. Then we'll lock in February 3rd at 10:30, and we'll have Tanya and Mel present a draft report, and we'll make sure that's circulated at least a day or two in advance of the meeting. So thank you, everyone. I'm excited to see what they've come up with just based on the conversation so far. It's definitely exciting. The next thing I want to update the committee on is experiential development. So this is a project that we've been working on with Bay of Quinte in terms of experience development coaching. So we're working with, his name is Celeste out of Halifax. And I have just felt so grateful to be a part of this. It's really some of the best training and coaching I've ever been through. He is so engaging and so insightful. And I think we will have a wealth of opportunities when it comes to experience development, having the staff from Bay of Quinte and a staff member from each of the partnering municipalities taking this training. So I've actually been partnered with Trevor from Bay of Quinte, and we are working with Glanmore National Historic Site on developing a hands-on experience that we will package and market through the Bay of Quinte. It's been a really amazing process so far. We're working with Jennifer and Dave at Glanmore, and I'm not going to give away any hints because we've got some further work to take place. But I will say one of the things we've learned through the training is that any experience that's developed, two of the key factors are that your guest needs to be creating something that they can take away with them, and that food is the glue to any memorable experience. So I'm really looking forward to further developing that with them and marketing it in the spring. We are looking at kicking it off in the spring and to be market ready. And I think it will open up a world of new opportunities for Glanmore in terms of attracting new markets to that site. So happy to answer any questions if there are any, but I would say stay tuned because it's going to be really exciting.
All right, thank you. Anybody got a question for Alicia?
Okay, I'll just keep going through. So item C, funding opportunities. So we're working on 2 funding applications currently. One is for the Reconnect program, which supports festivals and events. We have $100,000 that's been pre-approved by council during the capital budget for the holiday market. So we're going to be looking at submitting an application to further support the development of that event. And we're also looking at submitting something through the Tourism Relief Fund to support a tourism development plan for the city. So that one is open-ended. The Reconnect application is due in February. So we're just working away at both of those opportunities. I'm going to share my screen quickly for item D, which is Choose Belleville. So in the late fall, early winter, we kicked off, I would say, phase 2 of Choose Belleville since we initially launched it last fall. And so we've now featured an additional 10 businesses as part of that program. And I just want to show a video that one of 10 videos that we've been circulating that's had a really great response rate. So you should be able to see my screen in just a moment. And so I'm just going to go ahead and play one of the videos in case the group hasn't seen it, just to give you a sense of the content that's been developed.
My name is Tina Nguyen, and I'm the founder of XXL Scrunchie & Co. This year, I think XXL Scrunchies will be a unique handmade gift for anyone who wants to up their hair game. Choose Belleville as your destination for a sense of entrepreneurship.
Okay, so that is one sample. And again, there's been 20 videos produced in total. Let me just get my screen back up here. Sorry about that. There we go. So again, the content's been really amazing in terms of imagery and video, and just being able to do that outreach with the businesses, which is something we try to do as often as we can, but can be challenging. And I've been able to connect with some amazing entrepreneurs, Tina, who I just featured as one of them. And this is somebody who moved home from Toronto 2 years ago because she made a scrunchie for her cousin that everybody was raving about. She was a mural artist in Toronto. She moved home. She started making scrunchies in her parents' basement in the home that she grew up in Belleville. She's now occupying a warehouse space at 250 Sydney, and she's about to double the size of her warehouse space. She is phenomenal when it comes to knowing her market and pushing her product out online. She's selling these scrunchies worldwide, and it was just amazing to sit down with her and hear her story and be able to share that story. So again, that's one sample. I encourage everybody to check out Choose Belleville. We've got all the content posted there, and it takes you to blog posts on Discover Belleville, where people can then find out more information about various businesses in the community. This is something that we're going to continue to do throughout the course of the year. And we have a new feature as well, which I'm going to leave for Jill to describe later. And Jill, I'm happy to share the screen when you're updating the group on the map, but I'll leave that one to Jill when she does her report. Item E, Discover Belleville Guide. So just to say that we're working with They on the production of the guide, and we're looking at a mid-March distribution for the guide. So that's something that's currently underway, and we're developing a ton of content for it. And finally, an update on tourism kiosks. We are working with a local company that has put together a design, and we've partnered with Bay of Quinte. We're looking at actually doing custom design kiosks that will be distributed to 25 to 30 locations in the city. So that's any city assets and then tourism hotspots as well as accommodators. So we're going to be working closely with both the public stakeholders and the private facilities and looking at getting those set up this spring. So stay tuned for more information on that. That's it for me.
All right, thanks, Alicia. Any comments on her report? I'm seeing 10 hands up. Okay, I'm kidding, Alicia. Okay, now we're going to get an update from our partners and from the chamber. Jill, good morning. We're looking forward to all the exciting things happening at the Chamber of Commerce.
Good morning through you and everyone. Happy New Year. It's hard to believe we're already into the third week of January. Where does it go? Let's just hope it also means we get out of this pandemic faster. So visitor services, certainly Anna helps with Alicia regularly with Choose Belleville, and we are looking at 15,000 copies of that Discover Belleville guide to go out this year. We're consistently looking for new opportunities to distribute it. Last year we had halved our normal copy and then had to reprint. So we're looking at ways to keep it valid and viable in case we do have extras, but we also are looking at a couple of interesting large groups coming in over the next couple of years. So if we have any leftovers, we can use them. And the guide isn't as dated as it used to be. We used to have a lot of information that was specific to that year. Now it's a lot more friendly, kind of experiential, and it has a longer shelf life. So we're excited about that. The holiday tour, just to kind of go back, was exciting. We had lots of people engaged with our virtual kind of go and drive around, and the map there was great, which, and Anna's also working with PopUps. So those are all great things. The Shop Local campaign, the Choose Belleville campaign that the city launched a few months ago has been fantastic. And I mean, we totally love the idea of grabbing the humanity behind a business and the people that are featured on these videos. Certainly recommend that you look at them all. We actually got $90,000 through the Ontario Chamber of Commerce to support a Shop Local campaign. We did take a portion of that and supported what Alicia already had in place, which was fantastic. But we also carved out a little space of that for this interactive map. So it's always been great to say shop local, support local. But even when we looked at our directory, it wasn't comprehensive. The keyword search isn't terribly intuitive. And if you don't know the name of the business, you may not be able to find it. So there's some new technology that Snap 360. So Bay of Quinte, I want to give you credit, Doug, because he has already done something like this, bayofquinte.ca/explore. It focuses on some of the tourism features we have in our community and each of the communities that are part of the Bay of Quinte region feature. But this was a way for us to really look at the diversity of the business sectors that we have in our community. And so this is an example of the map. You can go and browse business categories. And when you click on that browse business categories, what you do is you see an overview of all of these different types of things that are there. And when you click on, like, for example, even accounting and tax services, then you'll get a chance to see a number of the different things that are available from that perspective. So we've never really had money to support the attractions. These are just your regular run-of-the-mill businesses, but people need them as well, and support services that they provide. So we're excited about this. We took advantage of our membership list first to kind of test out the technology. Then we've since used the comprehensive directory that the city had created over the past year. So the hundreds of businesses that are there are now also present on the map. And now we've also put out a postcard campaign that we'll probably repeat, inviting anybody who's a registered business to get on the map. They can do that for free by going to the bellevillechamber.ca website and /get on the map. Once they're there, they'll be prompted for some information, and we will be able to add them to the directory and if they have their Google My Business profile. That's the biggest key here, if they have their Google ID. And that information then can take, as long as they continue to update that, this directory or this map will stay current. That's always been the biggest challenge. And one of the things we always try to do is reduce duplication of effort. So hopefully this will become a huge resource for not only just the community, but also the city and for our residents and also the chamber. So we're really excited about it. And I hope people will enjoy using it. It's a pretty cool thing. Thanks so much, Alicia. And it's been great working with them. If they hadn't created this Choose Belleville campaign to begin with, we really wouldn't have had a platform to launch this. And what other communities have done across the province really is amplify an existing Choose Shop Local campaign. So the branding and everything that Alicia and the city have created was, I'm really grateful that we were able to slide this little resource underneath it. Are there any questions about that before I go on? Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about city events. Obviously, we're in the process of planning for 2022. We had a bit of a reserve from our contract with the city that we are putting forward into what will happen in 2022. One of the things that generally happens with city events is we get a lot of sponsorship from the community. We anticipate 2022 will still be a difficult year for that. So the reserve that we're able to carry over will supplement what we would normally receive in income. We also usually collect money for parking at events. If we're not able to do some of those things, it certainly is an impact on what we can provide in terms of the entertainment or the attractions that we would bring in. But with that said, we're looking at rebranding. We do 3 seasonal events. People are probably familiar with Savor the Chill and Stay a While, our Flavors of Fall, and then what we would call Family Art Fest. So because there has tended to be a downtown component to that, we'll continue with the partnerships with downtown, but leave the food to them, and we'll start rebranding these as Family Fun Fests. So then if they take place in Spix Park or if they take place downtown, we just add a layer of family entertainment to whatever the city has, or what an existing event that might also be happening at the same time, or multiple partners that might enjoy participating with us. For example, the Quinte Arts Council, if we do, and the city and the Mayor's Arts Week for the Arts in May. So we're looking forward to that rebranding, And then, of course, waterfront, we're looking at July 7th to 10th. So mark those dates. And whatever part of what we're used to, at very least, we're thinking we can do food and the Midway. And hopefully we can enhance that with music and live entertainment, as well as the vendors and enhancing what's happening with the pop-ups down there. From the chamber side of things, rapid tests consumed us for December. We have been distributing rapid antigen tests since June. Between June and the 1st of December, we had distributed about 20,000 of these rapid tests. We had about 120 businesses participating in the program. And then all of a sudden, they became the hottest commodity on the market. And we put out 15,000 test kits in the 2 weeks before Christmas. And that was, and currently we have 167 new businesses who put in orders over the holidays. So our next order, if we were going to fulfill it, would need over 40,000. So we're just on hold with everybody else in the province waiting for these tests to come. But the amazing staff here, we got into such a routine of packing up bags of tests so that people could have them over the holidays. We didn't have a single test left in the cabin. So we were assured that anybody who could had tests so that their employees could be tested when they came back from holidays, and hopefully limit the amount of exposure, community spread in the workplace. And we've certainly heard a lot of great stories from people who participated in that program. They caught that asymptomatic person before they entered the workplace when they came back. So hopefully, as we stop seeing testing numbers and everything else come into the community, this is also helping. So I mean, of course, the big deal is to try and make sure that nobody gets truly really ill with this illness or this virus, and we can move forward. So we're also in the middle of coordinating our advocacy policy resolution letters for the Ontario Chamber. That will go through for February 4th. And I have a meeting later on today with our Eastern Region chambers to talk about issues that would come up that we can appeal to the province for, and certainly housing is one of them. Just actually got off a meeting through Habitat as well, and talking a little bit about how we can appeal to the provincial government, of course the federal government, about how we deal with some housing issues. And I just want to echo the labor shortage. It's certainly something we hear and see about all the time. Tyler, you are absolutely right that the dialogue needs to change. Belleville has an active economic base, and so many jobs are available. It's not just in manufacturing. And I'm not going to lie, I have an ulterior motive with this map showing how many different businesses that we have, so that youth who feel that the only opportunities for employment are, Procter & Gamble and Tim Hortons, they can see that the diversity in our business sector is there, and all of these people have opportunities. So it's so please share the map around, tell people this represents Belleville. And I mean, we often equate our sense of community around how successful our downtown core is, and I will never dispute that that's an important part of it and an important part of our identity. But this map starts to show you how diverse and how big we are. And it's something really cool to see. So I will leave it at that. And thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, Jill, and thanks for your commitment too. Jill was on the meeting yesterday for the pop-ups, so she is 100% behind all projects here within the city. Let's go to Chris King. Chris, you're up for your report.
Councillor Kelly, we have lots of good news at Quinte Economic Development, and just remind the folks, the sectors we work in, primarily manufacturing, food processing, logistics, and technology sectors. On the investment front, the level of interest in the Bay of Quinte region and Belleville is just tremendous. We have so many good inquiries that we're working on right now, all at various stages, and some are pretty exciting. So lots of good opportunities to attract new investment to the community, and we're working with our municipal partners on those projects. On the outreach side, working with our existing businesses, we're continuing with some funding through the province to do direct industry outreach, talking to our manufacturers. And it's really about talking to your customers, treating your manufacturing sector like they're a customer and finding out what's happening in their sector. And as we do those outreach, there's lots of items that they need help on or opportunities they need to capitalize on. And usually 3 or 4 items from every meeting we have come up, but we're also getting the overall trends of what's happening in the sector. And again, it's good news. New investment in equipment and technology by most of the companies, as we talked about, they're hiring, they're growing, they're trying to upgrade the skills of their people. A lot of them are looking at new product development, new product mandates, new markets, new export markets. So the overall trend in manufacturing is doing really well. And despite some of the barriers around workforce and others. And this survey that we do also gives us ammunition as we go after funding. So when we try to get more funding for training programs and others, we have the ammunition that, hey, we talk to our businesses and we know what their needs are. So it's really industry driven in terms of the strategies that we're working on. One of the projects we did last year as a pilot project was called QTAP, or the Quinte Technology Adoption Program. And we supported a number of small manufacturers with the adoption of technology. So putting in place robotics or advanced CNC systems or some digitization systems in their manufacturing process. So we supported a number of companies, including several Belleville companies. And there's going to be write-ups on each of those that we'll share with the committee. So you get to see, hey, here's the company, here's what they did with those dollars. So as companies are finding it increasingly difficult to fill those low-skilled, labor-intensive, entry-level positions, a lot of them are looking at automation and robotics to fill those positions. It's not about laying anyone off, it's about redeploying those people to higher functioning activities within the manufacturing environment. So that pilot project was really successful. We're trying to go for a larger pot of money now to support all the manufacturers with technology adoption. So we're working through that. Our Elevate Plus program that we talked about several times continues to roll out. We actually got an extension of our project. It was kind of slow with delivery of some of the cohorts because of COVID and the ability to deliver programs. So we had a timeline extension of those projects till end of May now. But there's three cohorts that are starting, one in welding and 2 in manufacturing. And I know Chair Kelly, you were able to help plug those on the radio program the other day. So thank you for that. So again, anyone that hears folks saying, hey, there's no jobs out there, I don't know where to go, take a look at Elevate Plus, like a great way to get some really good experiential learning the technical skills, the soft skills, and get you labor ready or job ready. And the people that complete the program talk about how it's transformed their lives. And it's they might be in whatever rut people get into, whatever cycle, and they can't get out of it. This program gets them to that new level. And now they're working, they're bringing in a paycheck, and they're supporting their families, and they have benefits and all those things that they're looking for. So keep that in mind. Elevate Plus is out there, and it's doing really well. As part of Elevate Plus, we also had funding to support training of the incumbent workforce in the manufacturing sector, so the existing workforce. And we just basically allocated all the funds on that. Over $500,000 in training went directly back to our manufacturers so they can invest in their people. So as you apply new technology to your businesses, now you need a higher skill set of people, and you need to train them. So we had dollars to support companies to do that. So as I say, lots of good news. Inquiries are up, good investment inquiries. There's lots of interest in the city of Belleville and the region. There's good news on our existing companies who are trying to grow, expand, and do lots of things. Labor force, yeah, it's an issue. The other issue that we talked about yesterday morning with the Quinte Manufacturing Association Steering Committee was around supply chain. And a lot of them are experiencing issues on supply chain, and they're very concerned about the cross-border trucking issue with the double vaccination requirements. There was a lot of concern expressed yesterday morning by many of the manufacturers what that's going to mean to their businesses. So we'll see how that plays out. But I know they're reaching out through their various networks to let people know that, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I'll leave it at that. We have our AGM coming up February 24th, I believe is the date. So we'll have our budget approved. The plan that we have drafted up will get approved at that point in time, and we'll continue on. But things were busy right up to Christmas, and boy, as soon as we got back, things just picked up. It's really exciting times in economic development right now.
Thank you, Chris. And I just wanted to touch on too the Elevate Plus program at Loyalist with its partners. It's very successful. I was at their 27th graduation, I think early December. Over 200 people have graduated. 6 weeks, they get skills and confidence back in the workforce. Mike Hewitt and the team there at Elevate Plus do a great job. So I think it's important to share that program and let people know that it's available out there. And it's at the graduations, you just see the change in the individual and the positive reinforcement that they can do this, and so many success stories. So thanks for your partnership on that, Christopher. Appreciate it. Mr. Chisholm is not here, I believe. Is that right, Karen, for the real estate update?
That's correct. I believe we will be getting a new Quinny District Association of Realtors representative for our next meeting.
All right, thank you. Is Ruth here from the Quinny Home Builders Association? I don't see her on my screen.
No, Ruth was not able to join us today. She sends her regrets.
All right. We have Louisa Sorrentino from the Downtown District is going to present an update to us. Louisa, also thank you yesterday. She was a part of that PopUps meeting, so that we're showing lots of commitment for the city and good things ahead. So Louisa, we look forward to your report this morning.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, good morning to everyone and welcome to 2022. It is a very exciting time for us who work here at the BDIA as we plan all the events for this year. We hope to receive good news. After this meeting, we'll look at possibly an announcement that will help us plan the Savor the Chill event, which is at the end of February. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be in person, but if not, it'll be a takeout event, and we'll deal with that. We'll stay flexible, and we'll do the best that we can with what we have. In terms of an update, I just wanted to give like a brief update that we also discussed at the board meeting. So on January 18th, there was a board meeting for the BIA, and there have been some changes. But before I get into that, and it'll be very brief, I'm just going to list a few things that have happened in 2021 for the BIA. So many of you know about the Welcoming Streets Initiative, which was a pilot program that started in June of 2021, which was funded by Hastings County. So we have an outreach worker that works with individuals experiencing homelessness and street-involved individuals in the downtown. Sarah Bering has been creating and nurturing relationships with individuals and connecting them to support through all the different services and agencies that are available in the community. And she has been a great asset. She has been working very closely with the Belleville Police Services and has supported a huge number of individuals in the downtown. This program will continue until the end of 2022. However, more details are to come as Hastings County will confirm this amendment on the agreement. In 2021, we also received more than $250,000 in grants for the BIA, doubling our budget, which is about $200,000. And we also received 2 provincial awards from the Ontario Business Improvement Area Association, one in the category of special events, which was the Enchanted and Night Market, as well as for the rebranding of the Belleville downtown. Another new thing that happened in 2021 was we were able to establish a partnership with Ontario Parks. So when people are going to the website of Ontario Parks to plan their excursions and trips within the staycation year of 2021 and forward, they will find Belleville downtown as one of the options and be able to plan perhaps to come and visit the downtown as part of their trips to Ontario. that will happen when they're looking for trips for Sandbanks, North Beach, and Presque Isle. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that thanks to the City of Belleville and Bay of Quinte Regional Marketing Board, we were able to add some new light installations to our repertoire of Enchanted. Yeah, it was wonderful. It was very magical. We've received a lot of comments on social media. It was very popular. People were posting pictures, taking selfies, and yeah, that has created a lot of hype. So thank you so much to our partners. And yeah, events like Al Fresco, Porch Fest, and Porch Fest After Party, and of course Diwali in collaborations with the City of Belleville was a great success. We continue to see how newcomers and people who are new to the City of Belleville, because of course we're attracting a lot of people from the city and other places, continues to be a great draw for the downtown. And I envision diversity and being able to showcase how new people that have just moved here to the City of Belleville can be part of this community, will become a great element in placemaking and continue to help us with the strategic goal of being the thriving hub of the community. So again, placemaking will not only create the community that you want to live in, but also will help visitors being attracted to the downtown, businesses being attracted to the downtown. If they see themselves here, then they will come. Yeah, so we're really excited about all of that. Of course, there are also things that we need to work on to allow for that to continue. One of the things that we've identified within the organization that we're going to be working on this year is to improve the communication within the board and within the membership base. Some of you were at that AGM in November, so I'm sure you've seen and you know some of the challenges that we're facing. And as well as at this meeting on January 18, we have, the board has elected a new executive. So we have a new chair. Her name is Stacy Kerr. She takes the seat from Catherine Brown, who was obviously all of you know. Well, she's not here. Stacy's not here today, but she will be participating and attending going forward. So we're really excited to bring a new voice, a youthful voice, and yeah, and see what else can be accomplished and continue on the strategic plan that was established with the previous chair. Again, for events for 2022, the planning is well underway. Again, we're staying flexible so that we can encourage the public to keep a positive attitude and just support local businesses, just like Jill and all of us are doing to support local. And yes, last but not least, between now and February 2nd, it's all grant writing. So see you when I get out of this on February 2nd. We will be just hankering down and write grant applications. And I know this is the same for all of you guys. So yeah, that was me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louisa, and I hope you enjoyed the meeting today. Up next, we are going to hear from Doug Stevenson from the Bay of Quinte Regional.
Thank you.
Doug sent me a text and said he'll keep this under 3 minutes. Clock is on.
Three things, under 3 minutes. Through you, Chair Kelly, thank you. All this jobs talk, we're hiring. Our digital marketing manager, Courtney Klumper, is moving on. She took a job with the city of Kingston. And so anyone on this call who wants to apply can find the job posting on Indeed. She's done a tremendous job. So we're sad to see her go, but hey, some exciting times ahead. Listen, with the recent pandemic slamming us hard again, we're going to be releasing another round of our Bay of Quinte marketing grants in the coming weeks. So we just got a survey out in the community asking folks what they need the marketing money to do. Once we get that info, we're going to put them out there to the world so people can apply. I believe there's between $40,000 and $50,000 that's going to be up for application there. And then before I let you go, have you done this reading on the internet, folks? Did you see the news? Belleville in the top 5 of the U-Haul move list in 2021. Did you see US News reports Belleville a top 5 place to retire in Canada? This is huge, folks. No wonder you can't get a house around here. And gosh, must be some really good marketing going on. Great marketing and partnerships, huh? And synergies and working together. So I just want to say hats off. Really, it's folks like who are involved in this partnership. It's all elements of this community, as well as staff and the counselors building it from infrastructure to policy to administration, all the way down the line to us folks down on the marketing side. So it's great stuff.
Is that it? Is that it,
3
Steven?
things.
Okay, thanks, man. Well done. Brad is up now. Next, Brad, you have your work cut out for you after hearing Stevenson. Is Brad gone? I don't
I'm
see him.
sorry. My apologies, Chair Kelly. Brad had sent me a message a couple of minutes ago. I just noticed saying he did have to head out for a meeting. So yes, he's
Oh,
gone.
okay, he's gone, but he contributed earlier, and we appreciate his input. Quinny Arts Council here. Janet.
No,
Okay.
no, I wasn't able to attend.
Okay, well, good stuff today. Thanks for all the updates. Any new business? I'm not seeing any. Next meeting, 23rd February, 10:30, I believe by Zoom. And that's time now to call this a day.
If I can, just Chair, I believe just while we were in this meeting, Alicia did send the calendar booking for the February 3rd meeting as well. So you should have that in your calendar. So February 3rd and is it the 23rd?
Thank you. I just wanted to thank all the committee members too for their commitment to being a part of this committee. It's really important, and I value all of your time and commitment to this committee. And there's some exciting things ahead of us. And today we had good discussion. We learned a lot, and that's really important. And I'm looking to see 2022 kind of a chance for us to break free, if you will, and hopefully run with a lot of exciting things and get Belleville more news for such positive things going on. So anyway, thanks for your time and commitment to this committee. That's it. See you next month.
See you, folks.
Bye, thank you. Bye.
Councillor, did we have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, sorry. Can we get a motion to adjourn? Carla Brennan, and seconded by Councillor Alsop. Well done.
Thank
All
you.
those in favor? Good. Thank you.